Okay, this video is going to be the first few steps on how to create your owl planter. We're going to be using two different ceramic techniques in this video. This is just going to be step one. So in the next video, we'll go over how to actually start adding features, how to slip and score things. But we're going to be using two different techniques. Like I said, we're going to be using pinch pot, and then we're going to be using some coils. So this right here is a pinch pot. This is going to be step one, and this is going to be the base of your owl. So in order to create a pinch pot, you're going to start with a ball of clay, something fairly small because these aren't going to be, really huge planters. In order to make a pinch pot, you want to start out with a ball of clay. Try not to roll it around on the table. Usually if that happens, it kind of gets flat on one side. Instead of doing that, make sure that you're going and kind of throwing the ball back and forth between your hands, and you're going to be able to get a really nice shape, kind of compressing it in between your palms. Once you have your ball of clay, if you have any little spots like that, you're going to want to go in and just smooth them up and just use your finger to do so. And the first step to making a pinch pot is going to be to take your thumb and make a hole in the center. Make sure that you're holding your pinch pot in the palm of your hand, and you're going to make a hole about 3/4 of the way down. After you do that, you're just going to pinch it, and I'm using my whole entire hand. So I have my thumb here, and my hand is going to be pinching the clay together. Once I can open the hole a little bit, you can go in and you could start to use both thumbs. And take your time when doing this. This is going to be the base of your entire project. And we're going to want to get these nice and smooth. You may decide that you want to add textures into them later on. However, we do want a nice smooth pinch pot to start out. You'll notice that in the center, you might have some bumps. You're going to then hold it in your palm, and just using your thumb, start to smooth some of that out. You also want to make sure that the top of your pinch pot is not too skinny. So we want to keep it about the size of your pinky if you were to hold it up. But we're going to open this a little bit more. And spend your time on this. I've made many pinch pots in my life, so I'm very familiar with shaping them. But, if it takes you 20 minutes, if it takes you a half hour, that is completely fine. You'll notice that you do get some finger marks. You could go in and you can just turn it upside down and smooth them that way. You can also take little pieces of clay like this and just kind of stick them on, tap them into place, and use that to smooth. So I'm going to put this to the side. I would work on this a little bit more, but just for time's sake, I'll put it off to the side. So you could see the change in the size of the pinch pot. I started with the same amount of clay for both of them. So this is something I'm going to go ahead in and add some coils on. Now coils are snake-like pieces of clay, and I'm just going to break off a piece. And you're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to really compress the clay between your hands to make sure any air pockets are out of the clay. It's also going to help you so that when rolling out the clay, you're not going to get a lot of lumps in it. So you want to make a cylindrical shape, as round as you can on all the different sides. And in order to roll out a coil, you don't want to just go back and forth like that. Otherwise, it's just going to get flat. You want to make sure that you're going all the way from your fingertips to the end of your palm. So I'm going to roll it out. And I like to start in the center and then kind of drag the clay outward. So I'm using my whole entire hand. You'll notice if it gets a little thin in some spots, then maybe go in and just coil the end. And the goal is to try to get your coils nice and even. Like I said, I'm going fairly quickly rolling out my coil, but take your time. And you want to get it nice and even. So the next step is attaching your coil. Because we are going to turn these into owl planters, we're just going to have them go straight up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach the coil. And I'm just lightly pinching it on, not really hard, just lightly in place. And then I'm going to continue, and I'm going to break the clay off where they approximately attach. And I just kind of want to line it up. Now, where you line it up, it's going to be a little bit off. So you could add a little bit of extra clay onto it and smooth that in so that it all looks the same going across. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to smooth in our coil. We're probably going to do about 3 coils per owl. In order to smooth your coil in, there's 2 steps. First, you're going to hold your pot like this with your whole entire hand, and you're going to use your thumb to press down. So I would do this on the table, and I'm just going to be smoothing my coil in. And I'm taking the clay from the top and I'm smoothing it all the way down to the bottom. So there would be a coil unsmoothed, and there's a coil starting to get smoothed in. You're going to want to do that all the way around. In order to smooth your coil on the outside, you're going to do a very similar thing. However, you're going to support with your inside hand and you're going to smooth down. I like to use my thumb and smooth down and then kind of smooth over a little bit. Take your time on these. Really kind of focus on how you're smoothing your clay. And I'm going to go around the whole entire pot. So eventually everything should look like that. Like I said, if it's a little bit lumpy, you can always take some extra clay, add that on in little pieces, and smooth that over. We are working with the speckled brown clay to get a nice natural look. And when it is fired, you're going to be able to see a bunch of little specks in it, and it's going to give you that really nice finish, so we'll be able to create nice natural owl planters. So this is going to be step 1. We're probably going to go up, and I'm just going to use these to show you, and we're going to stack up probably about 2 more, 3 more coils, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to start sculpting this into a planter. Every coil, you want to smooth it in one by one. You don't want to stack a whole bunch. So step 1, pinch pot and 1 coil, then 2 to 3 coils afterwards.